Dr. Monga and Mr. Kapia, this question is actually for both of you. UNIDO and ECOWAS works across governments to implement projects. To an outsider, it looks like there might be a kind of governance issue that outsiders and companies are faced in Africa. Would both of you give me examples of projects or such instances where you have been faced with a governance problem in Africa?
Thank you for your question. I think this is a very important question when you say governance issue, and that's where I am trying to put energy at the centerpiece of development paradigm or program in Africa itself. I do believe that energy is very much part of solution of infrastructure what we want to create in Africa, and for that to have a right kind of regulatory bodies to be there at the national level, regional level, so that public-private partnerships can come up, especially private sector to come up, like in India, China and other countries have come up. Secondly, because that's where the investments will come. For example, in Africa as a whole, they have harnessed less than 7% of their renewable potential. And why that's so? Because governments don't have funds. There's a multilateral funds, there are bilateral funds, but governments don't have much funds. Funds must come from the private sector. And for private sector, what they need is right policies environment. Government must come up with the right policy environment so that private sector can invest. There should be ways from the global community to share risk, investment risk in some countries, because they have very much prone to civil unrest for various reasons, and those countries, global community must help on that. But third area, which as UNIDO we feel very important for us, is how technology transfer and technology demonstration can take place. For instance, Africa has a lot of renewable energy projects going on for last 20 years, but still not a single renewable technology manufacturing base is there in Africa. Everything is still imported from Europe, from China, from India. So we believe in some technologies, for example, cook stoves. Can you imagine energy efficient cook stoves are being imported from outside Africa? Now with Philips, which they have developed a very energy efficient stoves in India with local partners, that we have helping them to set up a manufacturing base in Lesotho. We are encouraging, first solar from US is coming in South Africa, but we want this manufacturing base to come in other parts of Africa, especially in ECOWAS region, East Africa region, as well as SADC, like South Africa Development Community region. And of course, last but not the least, capacity building. I always believe as a UN system, our first step is how to build capacity of local institutions, local not only in policy makers but also experts, and of course civil society, because whether we want to work in renewable energy or energy efficiency. And here I must mention that when we produce energy from renewables, it makes more sense to use it efficiently. So there are two sides of same coin. So we believe that Africa should not lose out on this energy revolution, this energy transformations we are looking at. Africa is very rich in resources. It's time that Africa also becomes self-reliant and then move into manufacturing. That's where the value addition should come. Mr. Kapia mentioned about gas flaring in Nigeria. UNIDO has come up with one of the first projects with a public-private partnership with Statoil, which is a multinational of Norway, to really help gas flaring, whether that gas flared can be converted into, instead of flared, we can convert it into methanol, which is and then that methanol then can lead to power generation, industrial applications, and value chain approach. That's where the Africa should start becoming more like a manufacturing hub. And for that, access to energy and use of renewables become very important. And that's where I think the future of Africa lies.
Yes, I think Dr. Monga has touched on almost all the areas which we also call as the barriers to the development of these resources that we have, particularly capacity, knowledge transfer, and then final investment. But the key area is the investment. Even if you have all this, as he's mentioned, the government do not have this money, and we want to rely on other development banks who should provide the loans, the concessionary loans, and the development banks, they have, so many conditions before you qualify to even have some amount of loan, and most of the countries do not meet that. We talk of the private sector. When you come to the private sector, good, they are welcome, but you start hearing from them, this is a high risk area, there should be a risk premium, we must get a minimum of this return on investment. Some of them talk of not less than 25% return on investment.
Yep.
So if you're going to make 25% return on investment, I mean, what is left for the people? Practically, you're taking everything. You want to make an investment and recoup your investment in 4 years? I think that is too short for the energy sector. But this is the condition they put before you. So then, you have the resources, you don't have the finances to develop these resources. The development banks are constrained to what extent they can support you. The private sector, you cannot meet their requirements because they're talking of such returns. This is actually where Africa finds itself. And this is actually where the main difficulty stands. That is why we need to stretch our tentacles. Look out for a wider partnership. So even if this man will not accept this level of return on investment, this other man may accept. And that is why we're looking now more forward to the South-South cooperation. So that is where we're likely to get all this technology transfer, also develop our resource, our manufacturing base, rely more on local technologies and local manufacturing capacity to bring down the cost of most of these products that we will require in our own system. It's true, we've seen a whole lot of renewable energy plants lined up, but most of it is targeting imports because there's no manufacturing base yet in the region.
Absolutely.
So, and that is one thing we have to be looking at. So, the ECOWAS region is one market. Goods are allowed to move freely across the borders. So the first person that gets in becomes the lucky one. Because, yeah, you become the lucky one. But this is what people don't know. You become the lucky one, you have this big market to yourself, and you'll be surprised how much you'll be protected for the first few years.
Yes.
Yeah, but sometimes they don't know it. They still think that we're small countries dotted. Yes, we're small, but we have a common market. And sure, not all may be that stable, but you can find one that is very stable and have the right conditions for you to invest in these manufacturing facilities.
Absolutely.
And if you get in, you will not regret it. We have that in some products, and it is working already, but just people outside ECOWAS do not know of this opportunity, which is lying there going to waste.
Just let me just add one point, basically, because I must say about sustainable energy for all, because Africa is a continent where we really need all these three goals under sustainable energy for all. That is universal access by 2030, doubling energy efficiency by 2030, and doubling renewables. In fact, Africa is a region where we should not double, it should go 4 times. Because that is the scope and potential.
Right.
And like our Director General, Dr. Jumkela, who is the chair of leading Sustainable Energy for All, he adds 4 P's for Africa. First is political leadership, commitment at the top level. Second, policies. We should really put the environment, enabling environment. Third is private sector, how to bring private sector for investment on board. And fourth is partnerships, how to have more partnership and network. And yesterday one of our colleagues, we added another P, that is people. It should be a people-centered approach. So for energy systems, we require these 3 Ps for Africa to realize its potential so far as energy is concerned.